Can you share a little bit about yourself and the type of shoulder pain you were experiencing before working with us?
The shoulder pain that I was experiencing before working with you was constant. It was constant and it was sharp, and you never knew when there was going to be a spasm. Like you could do anything and it might spasm, and you'd have to stop, and people be like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'd be like, "That was a sharp pain." And they're like, "You didn't do hardly anything." I said, "I know.
So just doing like light activities would kind of bring on that like that.
Nothing overhead. Absolutely nothing overhead. I'd have to get people to do it for me. Even if it was like less than 5 pounds. I just asked somebody else to do it because it's too painful or it was spasm.
What were some of like the biggest challenges or like, frustrations you faced with your shoulder pain before we started working together?
Anything overhead was a problem. Anything overhead. Climbing, I mean, my son's bed at our other house wasn't very high at all, but just using my arm to get on the bed like I normally would just spasms. And I'd have to stop because it'd be so much pain. And just things that were just normal everyday activities, like putting on a jacket, putting on clothes, reaching to go to the bathroom. You never knew. Sometimes it would hurt, it spasm, and other times it would just hurt, but you never knew what the outcome was going to be. So you tried to, what did I try to do? Avoid using the right arm. Even to right, if I put too much pressure on my hand, you could feel it in the nerve.
Mm. What
So
about
it's like,
like
nope,
with sleep?
avoid. You wanted to avoid at all costs trying to use your right hand for anything but writing.
Yeah. What about with sleep? What were you noticing from like sleep?
It didn't matter what position I slept in, it hurt. Like if I slept on it, I had to always keep it straight. Always keep it straight so that it just stayed straight. Otherwise, it was in pain any way I slept.
What did you think about the way that we structured like your rehab like program? Were there any like unique or different things that stood out to you?
The one thing that I liked about the program the most was if something didn't go right or I didn't feel like I could do it correctly, I always had you to go and text, whether it was about anything. Like if I'm like, this exercise is not working, I can't do this exercise because whatever. There was somebody right, you were always there to say, well, let's fix this, or you need to buy this. And then you were always there to help. Like
Yeah.
real quick. I'm like, does he live on his phone? If he lives on his phone, just
Always
like
have it by me, yeah, because whenever you guys get stuck, I always tell people, I'm like, it's always a quick thing. We just have to modify and progress the right exercises based on how you're responding. So much of healthcare, they just give you this like sheet of exercises and say, go home and do these things. Well, how do you know if they're actually addressing your specific issues and how you're responding? So that's a very common thing that a lot of clients will, also say with that stuff. What did you think of, like, the app and, like,
I love the app. The app was good. I mean, because the videos helped. I might have been like, I think I remember this exercise. Let me go watch the video just to make sure. And if I didn't feel like I did that exercise correctly, I would go back and rewatch the video just to make sure, or go step by step through the video.
yeah, and then also even sending, like, the videos back and forth because it's sometimes
All of that. I think every program needs an app where people are demonstrating the exercises and then talking back and forth. That was a major plus.
yeah. What would you say to someone who's, like, hesitant about starting a virtual shoulder rehab program?
Virtual works. I would tell them the virtual works in this aspect because you have the Zoom calls, you have the app, you can text anytime that you want. You have those three components: the Zoom calls, the app, texting, emails. So it's not like you're left alone. But if you're in a program that you're left alone, here's your exercises. We'll meet up in a month after you've done them. Don't do that program. I recommend you not doing a program where they're not with you every week altogether.
Yep. How has this experience changed how you feel about managing your shoulder health moving forward?
I feel like now I have the tools, like when things go a certain way with the shoulder, then I go, okay, what exercise helps that? Like even with my back, we were talking the other day. I'm like, okay, I've got to do those bench presses where you with the rod where it's over your head and you're bench pressing down. I said I've got to get back into the habit of doing those because those like literally help the back. So I'm like, now I have the tools to say, okay, this works. Like all of the lift off exercises. I don't care for them because they're not easy, but I can tell that they're making progress. And all the I bought the bands, and I said the bands work, and I'm like, those are all working. So now I have a whole tool belt to go. Okay, what's the problem? How can I solve it? Before I had nothing. It was whatever you figured out in the gym.